Hi, I'm Kayan Barber. I'm one of the contributors to the report, but that's not what I want to comment on. But you can go to page 88 for that. No, I want to talk about segregated communities, especially segregated immigrant communities. We hear a lot about how spokespeople for the government, or say Dane Casey's review team, want to almost blame the immigrant communities living in segregated communities, and the fact that they haven't or don't learn English is proof that they don't want to isolate. One of the things that we're not examining, but I think needs thorough examination, is the role that local authorities have played in social housing policy. Because as immigration started in this country 60, 70 years ago, local authorities deliberately placed people from different backgrounds or similar cultures and languages in the same pockets. So to place them in these pockets and then complain at them because they because they become self-sufficient, it should be no surprise that the butcher down the road speaks the same language as the household, or all the households on the street, or the doctor or the lawyer's office speak the same languages of the people in that community. So I think that when looking at blame or lessons to learn, I think a lot can be said for local authorities, and they must take responsibility for that.
Thank you very much. Any other questions or comments?
Yeah, I suppose one of the sad things about being around so long is you've done everything. And I did a series called Trouble Up North, which was all about housing, segregation in education, etc., just after the riots. And one of the things that on the journey that I've been on is to understand is that one of the problems is when you have such poor religious and cultural literacy, and it's very hard to achieve any success until we address that as well. Because into the vacuum of poor religious and cultural literacy comes the opportunity to say whatever you want. And also for people who think they're saying the right thing or thinking the right thing to actually get it completely incorrect. So one of the things that I think we really need to get our act together, not just Muslims, but everybody, full stop, is actually we need to understand what our lack of religious literacy and cultural literacy actually means. Because I think Sajid's been on a journey. I think we could all see that. He's probably been on a journey in the last few years because the language he's using now is different to what he would have used a few years ago. You know? And I think that shows that actually you can have some success. So I think that's the thing we need to be thinking about. How do we all work together to create an environment? Because what Sajid, I think, has shown is that actually even somebody of his hardened nature can actually understand that what they were saying was incorrect and therefore change their tone. And I think without that kind of knowledge, we might actually just be having this conversation again in 20 years' time.
Thank you very much. Yes?
Yes, of course. During the 20 or more years which I'm trying and doing the integration, cohesion, talking to nationally, internationally, locally. What we have here, I believe we are integrated enough. There is enough. We go to Tesco, we go to here, we go to the school, we go to the classes, we go there. And you cannot fully integrate because unless you change your religion as you know it. However, I find it is somehow is a political. And I'm talking to our sister Nasha. I talked to David Miliband a long time ago. We were talking about Islamophobia before he gets. They said, if I get there, I eradicate Islamophobia. He said to me, if I get there, I eradicate Islamophobia. And of course, when he came to the David Cameron, and I said, go and learn from the David Miliband, see what he's at, see what policy he has, which we can eradicate Islamophobia. And of course, now I was going to talk to the Naz. What do you think if the Labour gets in, can eradicate these things? Because it's impossible. It's just every 5 minutes, can you integrate, can you cohesion, can you do that? And it is not going. It is not healthy for integration to so much pushing and shoving. Excuse my language, but please, what do you think? What is the Jeremy Corbyn will say? Of course, I know his opinion, but please.
Okay, so let me read something from the Daily Mirror today. Black boy tied to a lamppost and whipped at school's mock slave auction run by white teenagers. We haven't got race right yet, let alone religion. When you have in Great Britain today, this is today's news by the way guys, a black child being tied and that child being mocked like a slave in this country, that if anybody, any one of these religious, any political leader tells me they're going to get rid of Islamophobia and all of this, you know, I'll hang my coat up and go home. Because there would be no need for people like me to be on the Home Affairs Select Committee, challenging, bringing in the likes of William, bringing in the likes of IMSO, bringing in the likes of, there would be no need for me to have that job. So yes, I share your dream and vision and the vision of every political leader who says yes, we will eradicate it. But unfortunately there is a nature, and it's a human nature, and we're all defined by our emotional responses. And when we have poverty, when we have austerity, at the scale that we see today in this country, where your average, we are living in the 6th richest country or the 5th, whichever way you define it, yet we have child poverty levels we have not seen in my lifetime, then it's not about, you can forget fixing the race issue and the Islamophobia issue, we haven't even got poverty right. And that's more, so unfortunately, whilst I'm optimistic that we are playing a part and we are here having these conversations, the real important conversation needs to happen with the community. Now, we're pushing against an open door here. All of you are here listening to this, you're a part of this agenda. You understand it, you bought into it. But the real challenge is, what do we do when we leave this room? What are we all going to do with this report? Where is it going to land? Who is your audience? And I mean, I know I've raised these points from that. Those are the questions we need to ask. And don't look at the political leadership. And I'll tell you why. Because, if there was ever change in society, it was a group of people that led it, or individuals. And those individuals came from the grassroots and worked upwards and held their political leadership to account. So if there's something that needs to happen, it has to be from the communities, and it will come from the women, like the women sat at this table today. I'm proud of the Brad podium who sat here today, who's talking about the hijab. It's going to be our young people who will say, no, we will not tolerate this. Just like the civil rights movement. So we need to go back to that. So please do not look at just the political leadership, because it is everybody's responsibility.